Your Minnesota Vikings are hashtag blessed to have one of the better, if not the best, offensive tackle duos in the league in Christian friggin' Darrisaw, as well as Brian the Real Deal O'Neill. And O'Neill, the former second-round pick out of Pitt, has quickly risen up, become a team captain, signed himself a nice extension, and he's an elder statesman on this team and a true leader along the offensive line, as well as looks kind of like Buzz Lightyear, as pointed out by Lindsey Young of the Vikings. Woo! I mean, I see it. I do kind of see it. And unfortunately, O'Neill late last season popped an Achilles chasing after the Packers on a pick six, which is just a mess. Just a mess all the way around. Really unfortunate injury. Although it was a partially torn Achilles, questions about his fitness being ready for the 2023 season were in jeopardy. And Kevin O'Connell has talked about this in the media, where he says that O'Neill's going to be ready for training camp, etc. I miss Thomason covering the Nuggets, covering the NBA champion Nuggets. It's kind of crazy, man. But the whole thing about O'Neill is that he's been out of OTAs and mandatory minicamp on the side watching, and it is a progression. And every single recovery is different, but, by the way, this pulled from Lower Extremity Review. Sounds dirty. It does. But talk about return to football after Achilles tendon rupture. The length of time to allow full activity after Achilles tendon repair is generally thought to be 4 to 6 months. The 11 months needed to return to play as a professional football player seems considerably longer. However, there is a major difference between allowing full activity and return to play in the NFL. Now, there's a couple things in play here. Number one, everyone's recovery is different. Number two, Brian O'Neill playing right tackle versus a corner or a receiver, a little bit different. And also number three, partially torn versus complete tear. So the surgery is going to be different for O'Neill. But that being said, I don't know, because at the start of training camp at the end of July, beginning of August is going to be 8 months removed from surgery, and who knows? Who knows at this stage? And also, let's not forget that Oli Udoh, the much maligned Oli Udoh, who was terrible at right guard, he was terrible at left tackle, filled in quite nicely for O'Neill at right tackle. And weeks 17, 18, the wild card game, replacing O'Neill, 173 snaps, 73.2 PFF grade, fourth amongst NFL right tackles, 3 pressures, 0 goose egg, D'Angelo Russell sacks, only 1 penalty, which is really good for Oli Udoh, and then an 81 PFF pass blocking grade, which was also fourth in the league amongst right tackles. So he filled in well. And it makes sense because Oli Udoh was a right tackle at Elon. He was right tackle, right tackle, right tackle. They tried to kick him inside. They tried to kick him into the blind side. It wasn't happening. And O'Neill's injury, as well as Udoh playing well in place of him, was a big reasons why Oli Udoh was a priority in free agency this year, bringing him back on a 1-year, $2.58 million deal, which is pretty damn good for a backup offensive lineman. So it's clear that the Vikings wanted to keep him into the fold. And this is I'm just saying situation where, so when the Vikings were looking to find cap space, something that got brought up a lot was restructuring Brian O'Neill's base salary this year. $14.4 million, skin it all the way down to the base salary or league minimum, which is about $1 million and change, and then spread out the hits of that $13 million over the remaining 4 or 5 years of his 4 years of his contract, or you could spread over 5 years as a restructure. So they didn't do that. Now, part of it could be is, number one, you restructure players that you see being with the team for a long time. Number two, that want to see the extent of O'Neill's injury first before they committed themselves to changing out all that dead cap hit. And number three, his 2024 $14.4 million base salary, none of it is guaranteed. $7.7 million of it is injury guaranteed, and there isn't any other guarantees until the third day of the new league year next spring. So it could be a spot where Hasey's sort of hedging his bets in this spot, also bringing back Oli Udoh, wanted to see the extent of Brian O'Neill's injury, and even though O'Neill's only going to be 28 in September, I mean, Kwesi didn't draft O'Neill, he didn't extend O'Neill, and don't want to say it, but it could be something that was going through the minds of the Vikings, hence why they didn't restructure O'Neill's base salary when that would have been a very easy way to free up around $10 million in cap space. But Offensive line wise, they do have Oli Udoh, who's taken the majority of the first team right tackle reps. Vidarian Lowe did get in there for a couple snaps as well. And I do think that O'Neill's going to make a full recovery, but also I could see the logic of having him start the training camp on the PUP list, physically unable to perform, because you can't get on the regular season PUP list unless you're on the training camp / preseason PUP list. And they want to take it super slow with O'Neill. And that's what Kevin O'Connell has been doing with injuries ever since he came in. It's you can't make the club in the tub mentality. It's like, hey, let's get you to as close to 100% as possible, so it reduces the likelihood of a re-injury. Because I mean, say O'Neill was good to go and he was out there at OTAs and then something happened again. That would have been a travesty, an absolute travesty. So getting O'Neill back to 100%, I think that's something that they can take their time with. He's a veteran, doesn't necessarily need all the training camp snaps. Also, the fact that he has continuity with Cooper and Wes Phillips and Kevin O'Connell there 2 years in a row certainly does help his case as well. And Oli Udoh filled in fine, and it's clear that they have a lot of confidence in him, paying him premium backup dollars to stay in purple. So it could be a spot where if Brian O'Neill starts the training camp and preseason on the PUP, don't freak out about it, because they can come off at any time, and it could just be a way to hedge the bets a little bit, take it very slowly, him working off to the side and see how he does. Oh, by the way, O'Neill got engaged over the weekend. Awesome. Congratulations, 75. But O'Neill, he's going to return to fitness, and he's still going to regain his spot as being one of the best right tackles in the game. So I'm not worried about it, but if he starts training camp on the PUP list, don't freak out. No freak out. Everything is going to be all right. But your thoughts are our thoughts. Will Brian O'Neill be ready to start the 2023 season? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo, as well as check out the store, purplefdw.net. But until next time, Skol, production value.